Many of you know and love Sauvignon Blanc. You've heard of the grape. It's one of the more versatile and popular white grapes, and it's perfect for the warm weather and for summer. It's also really a great grape because most people have heard of it. The Sancerre region of the Loire Valley is a region that's located in the central vineyards, and it follows the Loire River. It is a beautiful area where you have this really incredible soil that translates to really delicious minerality in the wines. So 4 bottles of Sauvignon Blanc, all from the Sancerre region, are in this week's tasting. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. There's a lot of history of winemaking in the Loire Valley, and actually it dates back until the 1st century. Sauvignon Blanc is one of the more popular grapes, but there are other grapes like Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc grown in the Loire Valley. We're going to focus this tasting on the Sauvignon Blanc grape. So the typical Sauvignon Blanc has aromas of citrus, and a lot of people say depending on where it grows, the citrus can be really ripe, or it can be underripe, or even just perfectly ripe. So being that Sancerre is one of the more famous and old world wine regions that's relatively cool in climate, we often find Sauvignon Blanc here to be slightly less pungent than you might find in New Zealand or even in California. In this particular instance, when we look at the 2019 Sancerre from Jean-Marie Raimbault, we're finding a lot of fresh characteristics. I find grapefruit rind and lemon zest, and as most Sauvignon Blancs do, it has a slightly herbal quality to it, almost like you have some fresh, dried green herbs, a little bit of like a grassy quality to it as well. That's something called pyrazines, and that characteristic happens often in Sauvignon Blanc. The makeup of the grape itself lends itself to be herbaceous, which is really incredible and interesting for pairing with some of the harder to pair vegetables, because when you're thinking about asparagus or artichokes, or even just salad greens with vinaigrette, it's a really hard pairing with most wines. Sauvignon Blanc is one of the best for vegetable pairings. So here we have a really strong minerality. It's almost like a chalk, which is a characteristic that you find in Sancerre. It's in the area, you have a couple of different soils, including some stony soils, some chalky soils, but this Sauvignon Blanc has a lot of that classic, as you would say, classic steely, mineral-laden, pungent. It even smells flinty. We use this word flinty when it smells like almost like you rub 2 rocks together. So it's really pretty. And then when you taste it, the acidity is bright and fresh and lean. The wine is refreshing. It's making my mouth salivate. I think of goat cheese. I think of herbs. I think of goat cheese with herbs as a perfect pairing. So Sancerre, the region, Sauvignon Blanc in this case, really steely, pungent, minerals, refreshing, clean. So let's go ahead and try our second Sancerre. And this one is Les Belles Côtes. So this is Roger and Didier Raimbault. It has an extra year of age to it. And it's really interesting because as wine ages, it has a little bit less of the fruity characteristic of citrus, and maybe in this case, it's much more smoky, and it almost has a rounder nose to it. So I think about tangerines and orange and zest. Wow, and it's a little bit floral even, which I don't necessarily always get in Sauvignon Blanc, and especially in Sancerre, but this one is really a great example of how it can be a little bit floral. So a little rounder, like I said. That fresh green herb that's almost always in Sauvignon Blanc is here. In this case, it's a little bit more minty. So you have a rounder, more maybe smoother, less acidic version of Sancerre, with a little bit of a creamy undertone in the texture. It's really nice. So you perhaps would want to have our Jean-Marie Raimbault first, the 2019, if you were having a dinner party and wanted to try both of these in the same evening, and then follow that up with the 2018, just as a progression, maybe the fresh and clean wine first, and then follow that up with the rounder style. conclude, Sauvignon Blanc is one of the most versatile, delicious, summer appropriate, as well as warm weather wines, and it's perfect for anything from a simple salad of fresh greens with herbs and goat cheese, all the way to a little bit of a richer style of fish or shellfish, crudo, ceviche, and things like that. I hope you enjoyed trying these two Sancerres, and I can't wait to hear what you think about them.